to be installing Drupal with Composer and Docker. We're going to be using Drupal-composer to set up Drupal with the help of Composer. We're going to be cloning the docker4drupal project. We're going to prepare the build our containers, and install Drupal. So here we have the Drupal-composer project's GitHub page, and it's under github.com drupal-composer Drupal project. And we're going to be using this snippet here, and we're going to open our terminal, and we're going to first switch to our sites folder, and we're going to be executing it, but instead of some directory as we have here in the example, we're going to say docker Drupal, and we're going to hit enter. It is going to use the create project composer command to pull the Drupal-composer Drupal project's 8th version, and it's going to also run composer install for us. So basically we're going to have the code base for our Drupal project, that's perfect. And the next thing we want to do is we want to open the would-be docker4drupal GitHub page under github.com would-be docker4drupal, and we want to clone the project. So if we jump back to the sites folder, we're going to clone it here. So we say git clone, and we're going to clone it under docker Drupal server, let's call the folder, and hit enter. That's perfect. So it is now cloned, and the next thing we want to do is we want to remove the git folder from this docker Drupal server folder. So we say remove recursively in the docker Drupal server the git folder. Yes, that's perfect. And the next thing we want to do is we want to remove also the docker-compose.override.yml file. So we say remove in the docker Drupal server the docker-compose.override.yml file. We're removing it, and then we want to actually copy all the files from the server folder, from the docker Drupal server folder to the docker Drupal folder. That's perfect. They're copied. And let's go ahead now and open everything in Atom. So we have the sites folder here, and we have the docker Drupal folder. And currently in the docker Drupal folder we have the web folder, which is basically coming from the Drupal-composer project, and we have also the Docker Compose and the stuff that are going to be responsible for the server. And the server settings are basically in the env file, and here we see the domain name that is going to be used locally for the Drupal Docker Compose setup. So basically we don't have to change anything, because as we remove the docker-compose.override.yml file, currently the docker4drupal project is expecting to have a web folder, and the web folder we actually have as we installed our Drupal with the help of the create project command. So basically what we have to do now is we would have to start docker. That's perfect. So now if we jump to the terminal and if we switch to the docker Drupal folder, all we have to do to build our docker4drupal setup is we would have to do docker-compose up -d, and we hit enter, and it's being executed successfully. So in order to check it, we may do docker ps, and we see that the containers are up and running. So if we jump back to the code base and if we just copy this bit and if we paste it in the browser and if we say 8000, and we're starting to install Drupal. So we save and continue. Standard. This bit is a bit specific, so if we jump back to the code base and in the .env file, we see that the database name is Drupal by default, the user is Drupal, the password is Drupal, and the database host is MariaDB. So we say Drupal, and under advanced options, we say for the host, we say MariaDB, and we save and continue. That's perfect. So lastly, we'd have to input the last information for our Drupal web page. Drupal up, hi at drupal-up.com, username admin, let's say, and your country. And we save and continue. And we have Drupal instance installed and it's perfectly working. So if we go under reports and status report, we see that everything's fine except trusted host settings. That's something that has to be added in the settings PHP file. So it's working perfectly. So if you like this video, please check the links in the description. Like, subscribe, comment if you have any questions, and thanks for watching.